This meeting will come to order. I think we have worked our way through some technical difficulties. The roll call, according to the visuals here, will show all commissioners are present. Do the Pledge of Allegiance here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have relative to approving the agenda, there are two changes in the consent agenda. And one is item number 4, accept the 2020 Emergency Management Performance Grant funding. That's off the agenda. And then under number 7, approve Sauk Center's School Police Liaison Officer contract. We're also adding a similar contract with Melrose. So those are the two changes. I'll assume, unless there's an objection, that the agenda has been approved, or you don't find any objection. Great, we'll go with those changes. Historian laureate recognition. I understand historian. I don't know. You'll have to explain laureate, and we will recognize Annette Atkins for that title. Can somebody explain that?
If I can jump in.
All right, thank you.
We do have, I believe we have Annette herself here, and we also have John Bodette of the History Museum Board, and we have Mary Essig, the director of the History Museum, and maybe others. But I think John is going to introduce this honor that we're bestowing on Annette, and then I'll share the resolution and read that, and in recognition of all of her work for the history of Stearns County. So I think, John, if you're ready to come on, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Mike. And thank you, commissioners, for allowing me to talk about this wonderful historian. Annette Atkins takes dust away from our county's history and brings it to life. When Annette speaks, she takes what happened decades ago to explain what is happening today in our county, state, and nation. When Annette speaks, I swear I hear the voices of the pioneer women and men who carved out our county from the wilderness. When Annette speaks, I hear the hopes and dreams of all people in our county, rural and urban, young and old, dairy farmer and store owner, all humans striving to better themselves, their families, and their communities. I hear their successes and their failures. When Annette speaks, the tapestry of cultures and heritages in Stearns County comes alive. When Annette speaks, the urgency of what we need to do to understand and preserve our county's history flows forth. She resets our compass when we stray. When Annette sits at a meeting table or standing at a podium or walking on a sidewalk leading a history tour, I say, what a gem. What an inspiration. What a laureate. Thank you, Annette. Your honor is so well deserved.
Thank you, John. At least pardon me, I'm paranoid. It's campaign season. This laureate, I was relieved to find out that's an honor, not an accusation. So thank you for your efforts, Annette. Thank you for your efforts, John. I don't know what else there is to add to that, unless one of the other board members or county administrator has something to add.
I put the resolution. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I put the, hopefully you're seeing the resolution on the screen. Is that correct?
Yes, it's up.
So I'm happy to read this. It's a resolution recognizing Annette Atkins as a historian laureate of Stearns County. And here's where we'll know what a laureate is. Whereas a historian laureate is an official ambassador on historical matters and promotes the history of a region and its citizens by documenting, researching, interpreting, and speaking about the people, places, and events that have created the fabric of an area. And whereas Annette Atkins' lifelong passion for using historical artifacts to open the door to illuminate the close relationship between the past and present is reflective of a life not only dedicated to promoting history, but inspiring others to engage in their past and better understand their present. And whereas Annette is a historian who dedicated over 14 years of service to the Stearns History Museum as a member of the board of directors, also serving as interim director for 1 year. And whereas Annette is a professor emerita at St. John's University and the College of St. Benedict, a scholar, teacher, and public historian who specializes in transforming academic research into compelling stories, as reflected in the authoring of numerous publications and books, including a path-breaking reinvent of state history, which won awards from the American Association of State and Local History and Western Writers of America. And whereas Annette speaks widely at professional meetings, libraries, Rhodes Scholar, and other education programs, and conducts writing workshops for faculty and staffs of historical societies. And whereas Annette lectures have been broadcast on Minnesota Public Radio, where she was the on-air historian for 5 years. And whereas Annette has represented Stearns County and has promoted a rich history, with the utmost professionalism, integrity, and enthusiasm for over 30 years. Now therefore be it resolved, the Stearns County Board of Commissioners acknowledges Annette Atkins as a historian laureate of Stearns County, adopted by the Stearns County Board of Commissioners today.
Thank you. Is this forever and ever, or is this a 1-year thing? What's the time frame on this designation?
I think once honored as a laureate, you are a laureate forever.
You're a laureate forever. Okay. All right. It's not like being a commissioner, huh? Well, good job, Annette. The baloney aside, the entire effort with the Historical Society, the museum, all of that has been a terrific addition to local culture. With that, move on to public access forum.
Mr. Chair, I think we need to actually pass the resolution. Jeff might want to move it, but I'll be happy to second it.
I will make a motion that Atkins be.
Yeah, that'd be appropriate, Jeff. You're on that board.
The
Okay.
appropriate
And I'll second that. Annette, you have done and hopefully will continue to do incredible work on behalf of our county and region. And it's a real honor that you're willing to continue doing this, your work.
And if I could say a word before you. Yeah. I'm an historian. I'm a teacher. I always have to say something. So first, Commissioner Lensmeyer, the laureate comes from the laurel wreath. So
Yes.
it's not an elected position. It is simply an honorific. So you can have as many laureates as you want at any one time. It's not an exclusive position. I wanted to say only that when I came here in 1980, I moved to Stearns County. I moved into Luxembourg above a woman named Magdalena Court. She was third generation German American. She had never been to Germany. Her parents had never been to Germany, but she still spoke with a German accent, and she still dreamed and prayed in German. And I feel like she has been my avenue into understanding the depth and the breadth and the complexity of Stearns County. So I really share this honor with her for being my my guide through so much of this. So thank you to the Stearns History Museum. It's been just a pleasure to be on that board and to be part of that board. And I look forward to many more years doing Stearns County, Minnesota, and American history. So I look forward to your vote, and then I will be happy to accept this with great humility and great gratitude. So thank you.
Thank you, Annette. Now, another clarification I've got. Can we have more than one laureate?
You bet. And I could suggest a couple others for you.
Okay, all right. Maybe for a while, we ought to be doing this, one a year, for a while until we run out of deserved folks. And, I do know that, the efforts of the Historical Society and the museum, et cetera, have, really been, I don't think it's an overstatement to say it's a work of love. Maybe work of passion would be more appropriate, but of course I'm not objective in that observation. You got quite a file on my dad. So anyway, moving along then, did we vote on that motion then?
Yep. We need to vote.
Okay.
Just wanted to
All
point
right.
out, I do have one of Annette's books right here.
You
Creating
do?
Minnesota.
Well, you're our book guy. Tell us about them briefly.
I have not read the whole thing. It's one of those books I've read in it. Haven't read it all. But it's
Okay.
fairly
We
extensive.
read
history
more of it than
Minnesota.
we have.
Commissioner Lensmeyer, if you'd like me to this is Carrie Essig. I apologize for stepping in, but the book is a wonderful tribute to Minnesota from a perspective that no other historian has shared the work and the concept of history. And so Annette's work really came to the forefront because she really took it from a very personal level and took personal and made it community. And that is one of the things that the Stearns History Museum is so grateful for. I want to also point out that the book recently was republished. It was originally published, I think, in 2007. Annette can disagree with me. And then it was just republished 2 years ago. So we're congratulations to Annette for her work.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Annette. And still, do we need a vote then?
Yep.
All right. Okay, all those in favor say aye. District 1,
Aye.
2,
Aye, and thank you very much, Annette, and those in the Historical Society.
3,
Aye.
4, aye, 5.
Aye, and what was the name of the book?
It's called Creating Minnesota, a history from the inside out.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I learned something today. There's hope. Okay. Public access forum. Did any members of the public want? Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, we have no one to contact us to address the board through the open forum.
Okay. All right. Then we'll move on to the consent agenda. As I indicated, there's 2 changes on the consent agenda. We're dropping item number 4 and the emergency management performance grant funding. And under number 7, we're also adding Melrose for a school police liaison officer contract. So anybody got any items that they'd like changed or pulled on the consent agenda? And if not, a motion to approve would be entirely in order.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. There isn't any further discussion. All those in favor say aye. District 1,
Aye.
2,
Aye.
3,
Aye.
4, aye, 5.
Aye.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, I think we could move to the Human Services Board, the consent items. Does anybody want to add or subtract or comment on any of those items?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Melissa Huberty, the Human Services Administrator, and I have only 5 items on my consent today, and they are items E1 through E5 on pages 69 through 80, and I'm available for questions if you have them.
Okay, any board members have questions for Melissa? Well, if there aren't any questions, somebody want to move the Human Services Board consent agenda?
So moved. Persky.
Here, I'll move the consent agenda.
Thank you.
Second.
Oh, okay. All right, Steve seconded. Okay. All right, if there isn't any further discussion, all those in favor say aye. District 1,
Aye.
2,
Aye.
3,
Aye.
4, aye, 5. Steve,
Aye.
thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, thank you. We have issues by commissioners? Or Randy, you got something?
I do, if you have.
Yeah, give us a report on, the chaos that's happening at various locations across the county right now.
It's been a relatively quiet morning, which is good. A few equipment problems that we always have, but we have 3 people out in the field just to handle that specifically. So through this weekend, we've had over a third of the people of our registered voters already vote early or by mail. So that's by far more than we've ever had. For the voters, the polls are open till 8 o'clock. If there is a line, anybody in line at 8 o'clock does get to vote. If you have an absentee ballot you're holding on to, you can drop those off at the service center until 3 o'clock today. The drive-up service is available. And then those for mail ballot precincts, if you haven't voted, you can vote in person at the service center, and that's the normal voting hours up to 8 o'clock also. So yeah, it's obviously been a very busy election season. And we'll report results tonight. I think what we'll be reporting tonight won't be everything that we've received today. A lot of our help is election judges that are working at their polls today. So after the election update, I would have one license center thing to talk about too. But if anybody has questions on elections, I can answer those first.
Randy, I've got a question, again, just to reiterate. So if a person does have their mail-in ballot and they do not drop it off, they still can come in and vote in person, correct? Up till the polls close. Okay.
Yeah. So if they're a mail ballot or if they're an absentee ballot and they're holding on to their ballot, they can just come into the polls and vote and just throw away that ballot. That's a fine thing to do. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Randy? You consider.
Yeah, no.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm sure that it's true for all of us. Please thank staff. I mean, it seems like almost every day that there's something new they need to be adjusting to. And with COVID and some workers, some citizens who were going to participate, election judges getting sick. I know that people have had to really step up even more. So please thank them again.
Yeah, we've had.
We're lucky.
The election staff has been great. There's been a number of departments that have helped out, and we're very thankful for them. And there are just too many to to mention. And a lot of great attempts too that have helped out. So yes, we will thank them all. It takes a big team.
You know, considering how this process locally, to just say nothing of statewide or nationally, because of the COVID thing, we were really challenged on staffing up with volunteers for this. The process back then had a lot in common with a preschool fire drill, but the reality is it's seems to be happening in a more reasoned, I won't say normal manner because it's never quite normal, but yeah, it's happening, and I guess we'll survive regardless of the adventure that it turned into. And that's just the process. It has nothing to do with the results and so forth. So, Randy, even if it was an accident, you can take credit for your efforts making this happen. And
Well,
this instills seriously. It people need to have confidence in the process. So the work is it's underestimated, understated, but it's a big deal.
yeah. So just for the example, obviously we were working Saturday. The clerks picked up their supplies, and I did that part of it. But we were open for absentee balloting, and the staff worked into the evening. And then they worked on Sunday from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 at night. So it's just an incredible effort that they are putting in. So it's a big tribute to them.
And that was on top of on Saturday having to deal with a major technology challenge from the state. It wasn't us, but statewide there was some challenges. So they needed to do some things the old-fashioned way, and it was very impressive.
Yeah, yep. Another glitch got thrown at them. The state system part of that kind of went down, so they got to do some makeup there too. So. The license centers, I want to give a little heads up on that. So MinLars and the problems that system has had. So that goes away during November, and a new system called MinDrive they're implementing. What that means is that November 12th and 13th, all license centers will be closed, including Stearns County. And then November 11th, of course, is a holiday. So from November 11th through the 13th, license center will be closed, so we will not have a drive-through. We will have people working in the office. So certainly you can call, you can do your drop-offs, and you can do stuff online. But motor vehicles and driver's license, we will not be able to process. So just a heads up that the office will be closed from the 11th through the 13th.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Since we were talking about the Historical Society and the museum and so forth, Jeff, you're on that board. It might, 2020 will be remembered as a COVID year, et cetera, et cetera. It might be appropriate for a presentation that would be on tape, on file with Randy and Dave Waltz on what a unique voting experience this election cycle. Because, I'm the geezer on the board. I've never seen anything like it, and it would have merit.
I can talk to Carrie Essig about doing such a thing.
All righty. Great minds thinking parallel, Jeff.
Okay.
Anyway, are there any issues? I could reconvene the regular meeting here. Oh, I did that. Issues by commissioners. Anybody got any issues?
Sure.
District 1?
So thank you, Andy. That's certainly a big part of what I wanted to make sure that we brought up. And Since it is a 100-year anniversary of when women got the vote, I think Carrie could also include in there how those demographic changes have taken place since women now actually vote in higher percentages than men. So who knows? Maybe today, Mr. Commissioner or Mr. Chair, we'll see something different there. But I did want to also bring up, because you brought up voting in the time of COVID, both the precautions that our county has taken. And I know that our next big COVID update will be in a couple weeks. But it also, we know, I've talked with Aaron Tufte a couple times this last week. There's some significant challenges our region is facing. Our numbers are way high. And I know that part of her message that hopefully we can all kind of keep repeating is be careful with family gatherings, with social gatherings, and community gatherings, because there is a lot of spread right now. So, and again, I'm thankful that we've had such a good election season. I think if Dave was on here, he'd probably say, Lee, that this is actually a continuation of trends we've seen over the last, couple cycles in terms of more people voting early and more people using mail. And so I guess while we're all doing our civic, our honor, our privilege, our right, our duty today, please be careful.
Okay, thank you, Terrell. Yeah, back when I started this job, as soon as we were done inventing the wheel, we had a one-day voting process, and we always made fun of all the other imitation democracies across the world where their voting period would be weeks. Well, with the advent of absentee voting and the popularity it's received, that's where we're at. So maybe those other folks knew what they were doing. District 2.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I just got a bit of a comment to make, and that is last Friday we had a District 7W transportation meeting, and there were a good number of elected officials on that, commissioners and city officials. And you know what? We went for 2.5 hours and focused on transportation, and there was no argument, bickering, or anything. With that, we've got such partisan politics here today. If we focus on the people, I think we do a lot better as far as getting things done. And I just want to thank my fellow commissioners, because it seems to me when we get together, we focus on what's best for the county and put our partisanship aside. And I just want to thank everybody for working cooperatively. And let's hope that maybe we can set an example and move maybe more in a positive direction, because I think this is the most partisan and toxic environment I've ever seen in my lifetime.
All right, thank you, Joe. District 3, Jeff, you got something?
I have nothing.
That was my theory. District 4, I have almost as much as Jeff. And District 5, Steve?
I kind of got to maybe echo a little on what Joe said. I've been on the fire department for 30 years, and we had a meeting last night, and we actually had a letter from the state fire marshal that told us what to do in the next 24 hours. Should we get calls to fires or anything on the freeway, not to send out tools, not to wear, if you go to a structure fire, not to wear your air pack, but basically just hit it and go, because of potential for elements to kind of create these mini events to move on to a bigger event while you're out of the area. So, I mean, it's kind of a shame that you gotta even think about that stuff. And I'm sure the sheriff's department's gotten all kinds of, suggested practices in the next 24 to 48 hours. So yeah, it's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, Steve, thank you very much. We're going to go into closed session. I got to read this. Closed session pursuant to Minnesota statutes 13D.05 subdivision 3 to develop and consider offers and counter offers for purchase of real property for expansion of Beaver Island Trail corridor, Freilich property. And so we need a motion to go into closed session. We have to take an action to go into closed session, or we just declare it?
No,
Okay, we're
You
in
don't need a
closed
motion.
session, and Ben Anderson, our park director, and Brenda Tice are going to walk us through this process.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
we could just have a minute and the people in the back room will mute us all and then they'll get back to us and tell us when we're not on the air. So we can't start until they let us know.
back in open session. Okay. Okay, Janet says that we're in open session, so if somebody wants to make a motion as proposed or as we uh, uh, indicated, that would be appropriate.
Mr. Chairman, going back to the public, maybe we better just briefly tell what the proposal is.
Okay. Ben, you want to, or Brenda, you want to talk about this a bit?
Well, I can state for the public,
You're on.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'll start, Brenda. So then,
Yes.
and then you can read the motion. So essentially, the county is considering purchasing some property from the Freilichs down located off the Beaver Island Trail for the extension of the Beaver Island Trail corridor. It is the recommended action from the Parks Department that the county board approve the proposed purchase agreement. And with that, I will let Brenda read the proposed motion.
Brenda Titus from the Stearns County Attorney's Office. The proposed motion that was made to the commissioners is to sign the purchase agreement for the Freilich property, which will close a gap in the Beaver Island Trail for dollar amount of $22,400 and will include installation of a fence and an approach off of County Road 75. The total estimated amount of the purchase will be $28,400.
Okay, you heard the motion. Somebody want to take credit for that? Somebody want to move the motion?
I'll move that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Terrell. Any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, all those in favor say aye. District 1.
Aye.
District 2.
Aye.
District 3.
Aye.
District 4. Aye. Steve?
Aye.
Bring her on home. Okay, we've had items by commissioners. We've got, I'd say we got this agenda done. That's progress, folks, sometimes because of what we do and other times in spite of what we do. Thank you very much. And if there's no objection, I'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're done.
Ben and Brenda, thanks for your work.
Yeah, thank you very much. Have a good day.